Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about fractions, decimals, and percents. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to first and foremost tell you that fractions, decimals, and percents all mean the same thing. Okay, we're going to start though with graphic organizer number 3, and we're going to be working on side 1. You should go and get this right now. Okay? Your objective for this video is, as a student, you should be able to convert a fraction to a decimal. So that's your goal. All right. And the essential question is, how do I convert fractions to decimals? Well, okay, we're actually going to follow 3 steps. Okay. Step number 1, you're going to use long division. Okay. Step number 2, the numerator goes on the inside, and step number 3, the denominator goes on the outside. You should write all 3 of those steps down on your graphic organizer. Congratulations. All right. So the first one is 3/8. This is example number 1. Okay. Here we go. Example number 1, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, and it will be 3/8. So step number 1 was we're going to use long division. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Our goal is to change this fraction to a decimal. So the numerator goes on the inside, the denominator goes on the outside. Now, wait a minute. Okay. 8 doesn't go into 3, so what do? Well, if you remember correctly, you're going to go ahead and put a 0. You're going to put a decimal and a 0 down here. Okay, put your decimal up there as well, because we don't have to move it at all. 8 goes into 30 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. We subtract, we get 6. We have to add another 0 because we're working on decimals. Okay, 8 goes into 60. 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. And we subtract and we get 4. We have to add one more 0 because all of our decimals either need to repeat or terminate, and most of them will terminate unless they have a denominator of 3. That's our goal. Okay, 8 goes into 40 how many times? It goes in 5. 8 times 5 is 40. We subtract and we're done. So our decimal for the first one, 3/8 as a conversion, is 0 and 375 thousandths. That is how you convert a fraction to a decimal. We have a few more examples. Example number 2. Okay, here we go. 2/5. So this one will be a little bit easier. Remember, step number 1, we're going to use long division. Okay, the 2 of the numerator goes on the inside, and 5 goes on the outside. Now, we can't do 5 divided by 2. Okay, or sorry, 2 divided by 5. So what do? We add a decimal and a 0. Our decimal goes straight up. How many times does 5 go into 20? Well, it goes in 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. We subtract, and we're done. Our answer for this one is 0.4. Okay, or you can even say 0.4. It is the exact same thing. Okay, so 4/10. Let's move on. Okay, example number 3. Ooh, this one is a little bit different because this one is very interesting. Okay, this one happens to be a mixed number, but we still want to convert this to a decimal. So there's actually 2 ways we can do this. I'm going to show you the first way. The first way is to convert that into an improper fraction, which would be 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7 over 4. Okay, and if we did 7 over 4, we would put the numerator on the inside and the denominator on the outside. Okay, and if we did that, 4 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. We subtract, we get 3 left over. Well, we have to add a decimal, and we have to add a 0. Put our decimal at the top. Bring down our 0. 4 goes into 30. Goes in 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. We subtract, and we get 2. Once again, we're working with decimals, so we need to bring another 0 down. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 4 is 20. We subtract and we get 0. That is the method number 1. You could figure out that that is equal to 1.75. Or you can also use this other method, which is this whole number is the same thing as that whole number. So you can go ahead and write that down in your answer, and you could just find the decimal for the 3/4. Okay, so if you find the decimal just for the 3/4, you would have simply done 3 divided by 4, okay, which would have given you 3.0. You would have done 7, just like you just did, okay, and you would have gotten your 5. But you would have had to have remembered to add the 1 to make it 1.75. Either way is going to work. It just depends on what you do. Personally, it's better to do 7/4 right now until you get it down. Okay? And finally, this is your independent practice. Okay? So you're going to do these 6, and then you're going to go ahead and restart the video. So pause it now, do them, we'll come back. All right, go ahead. All right, and we're back. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first one, okay? I'm not going to show you what you should have done. I'm just going to write down what you should get. Okay, we'll see how you did. 15/50ths. Well, that one is actually 0.3. Okay, you might have also gotten 0.30. All right, 0.3. All right, next one, 7/20ths. I'll actually show that one down at the bottom. 7 goes on the inside, 20 on the outside. Add a decimal, add a 0. 20 goes into 73 times. 3 times 20 is 60. Subtract, you get 10. Add a 0, it's 100. 20 goes into 105 times. Okay, your answer should be 0.35. Okay, that one's good. All right, the next one, 3/4. We've done this one several times already in this video. This one is 0.75. Next one, 1/2. Well, 1/2 is very easy. That one you should have gotten 1/5. Or sorry, 0.5. My bad, I'm already reading number 5. Number 5 is 1/5. Go ahead and put that inside the numerator, or sorry, inside the box. 5 goes on the outside. Add your decimal and your 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times. Your answer is 0.2. Okay, your answer is 0.2 or 2/10. Congratulations. And finally, the last one, 17/25. Now, this one you probably had to do some work, so let's write down our work to make sure you did it. 25 goes into 17 0 times, so we need to add a decimal and a 0. We add our decimal. Okay, 25 goes into 176 times. That would be 150. You subtract, you get 20. Add a 0. 200, that would be 8. 8 goes into 25. 200, and you're done. Your answer is 0.68. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your 6. Hopefully you're able to do this. Let's move on. Okay? This is your exit ticket. Pause the video and do these now. Pause it because I'm going to move on. I'm going to keep going. Go. Pause it. Let's go. Pause it right now. Pause it really quickly. Pause it. All right. Now, we're also going to move on. We're going to do the opposite in this same video. So we're also going to convert those same decimals to fractions. So as a student in this little part of the video, you should be able to convert a decimal to a fraction. Congratulations. Listen up. You're still using the same graphic organizer. It happens to be the second part. We're down here. Okay? We're still on the same video. That's why we're doing the same graphic organizer. Let's move on. Here we go. Your steps for this one, okay, is you should be able to read the fraction simply using math vocabulary, and then number 2, you need to simplify it. So every time you deal with a fraction, it needs to be simplified. Welcome to 6th grade. However, all you have to do is read the fraction using math vocabulary. I'll show you. For example, okay, we have 3 fractions here. All we're simply going to do is pay very close attention. Let's look at this number. This number is 0 and 4/10. So that would be the same thing as 0 and 4/10. Okay, we don't really deal with the zeros, so it's just 4/10. But we need to do step 2, which is simplify. Both numbers can be divided by 2, or you could have put it in the cake method, and you would have found that that ends up being 2/5. So the answer is 2/5. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Next one is 0 and 35/100, which means 35 over 100. We need to simplify that. Both numbers can be divided by 5 because it ends in a 5 and a 0. If I divide 35 by 5, I would get 7. And if I divide 100 by 5, I would get 20. And that is simplified, so there you go. Step 1 and 2 done. The third one, once again, very easy. This one is 7, which means 7 is the whole number because it's on the left side of the decimal, and we have 28/100. Now, this 28/100 does need to be simplified. They can both be divided by 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So that would be 7 and 14 over 50, but that can be simplified again. They can both be divided by 2, which means 7 and 7 over 25, and that is simplified. There you go. Those are your 3. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, this is going to show you the same thing. Look at that, and moving on. Congratulations. Here we go. You try. These are your 3. These are the ones for your independent practice. Ladies and gentlemen, pause the video. Do it. Alright, and we should be back. Here we go. This one, first one, should just be simply 8/10, which if you simplified it, will be 4/5. The next one is a little bit harder. This one happens to be 4/100. If you simplify both of those, that would be 2 over 50, which happens to be able to be simplified, which would be 1/25. And finally, the last one would be 3 and 36 over 100, which needs to be simplified, Okay, if you divided them both by 2, it'd be 18/50ths, and once again it can be simplified again, dividing by 2, which would be 3 and 9/25ths. And ladies and gentlemen, that should be your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your exit ticket. All you need to do for these following 6 is to, once again, follow those 2 steps. Read it using math vocabulary. You just have to be able to read the problem and then simplify it. You can use the cake method. You can do it with the repeated division that we just did. Whatever method you use, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out. You need to be working on your next worksheet. Goodbye.